You've already seen that it's possible for a cell to contain more text than can actually show in that cell. Here I have this cell's contents selected. If there were nothing in the cell to its immediate right, the text in this cell would flow over into this cell. As soon as something appears in the cell to the right, the text is cut off visually, but it still exists inside that cell. If I want to see the contents of column A, one method that I can use to see that is to widen column A. And to do this, I'll hold my mouse pointer over the join between column A, which I want to widen, and the column to its immediate right, which is column B. When I see this mouse pointer, which is a vertical bar and two horizontally pointing arrows, I'll double click. That widens this column so that it is now wide enough to show the contents of every single entry in that column. It's also possible to adjust a column width manually. This time I'm going to adjust column B. I'm going to place my mouse pointer over the juncture between column B and column C, again looking for this vertical line with the two horizontally pointing arrows. To have Excel automatically adjust the column width, I would double click. To do it myself, I'm going to click and drag, and I can make the column as wide or as narrow as I want it to be. When I have it in position, I'll let go the mouse button, and the column width is adjusted accordingly. It's also possible to adjust the width of two or more columns. I'm going to select column C and with my left mouse button drag across until I have column C and D selected. If I position my mouse pointer here and double click, both these columns are going to be widened to the amount of width that they need respectively to be to show all the content in each of these columns. So C is a little bit narrower than D because C doesn't need to be any wider to show all its data. I can also size these columns to be exactly the same. With the columns selected, let's just deselect and make sure that we're right with selecting them. We select on column C, drag over to D. Now I can adjust these manually to be the exact same width. I'm going to make them 12.5. And now both of them are exactly the same. Just as you can format columns, you can also format rows. I can drag here to make this row deeper or shallower. And I can drag on multiple rows and adjust them all together to the same height. Or I could double click on the join between a row and the one immediately below it to make it as deep as it needs to be to show the content in that row. For all of these rows, that's going to be the standard width, but it may not always be the case. There are also some format options from the Format list here on the Home tab of the ribbon. If we have a cell selected, such as this one, B7, I can click the Format tab here. I could adjust the row height of row 7 by clicking this and then typing the height I want. I could click to auto-fit the row height so the row will be as high as it needs to be to show all its data. And I can do the same for column B. Set its own width, auto-fit it. And it's also possible to hide and unhide columns and rows. In most cases, you'll probably want to be hiding columns, although occasionally you may need to hide a row. To hide column C, I'm going to select it, and from the Format list, I'll choose Hide and Unhide, Hide Columns. Column C is now hidden. The column letter is not reassigned. It's just not visible here, indicating to us that there is a column there that is not visible. To make it visible, I can position my mouse pointer over it till I see these two vertical lines with horizontally pointing arrows and double click. That will re-display the column. I'm going to undo that, clicking this Undo button here. And I can also redisplay it by selecting the columns on either side of the missing column. I'll choose Format, Hide and Unhide, and in this case I want to unhide hidden columns.